Hello, everyone. This is Michelle Lee. I'm one of the violinists of the Tesla Quartet, and I'm here joined by Adeliia Faizullina. She is one of the 12 composers who has written a new quartet for Tesla's alternating current commissioning project. So this is really exciting for me and for us to get to chat. Adeliia, thank you so much for joining me here and a wonderful piece that you wrote for us. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you, Michelle. Thank you all for putting this together, the project. And I'm so happy to be in this project and just making art
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is really good. Um, so I read a little bit of your bio, and you had such a fascinating life. You're not only a composer, but also vocalist and a pianist, and play multiple instruments. That's really, really impressive. You accomplished so much so far, and just so amazing. Can you talk about yourself just a little bit for the audience here?
Yes, of course. So I'm a composer, a vocalist, and a multi-instrumentalist. Currently, I am in Los Angeles for my doctorate studies in composition at USC.
Mm.
And originally, I am from Tatarstan, Russia, where I grew up and started making music, started composing, and now I'm here uh, to explore the world more.
There you go. Yeah, so you like LA?
Yeah, I do like it. It's always sunny,
Yeah.
always summer, so feels very nice there. Sometimes I miss rainy weather. Like, oh, I wish
Mm.
it to be raining.
Really?
But
Did you
yeah,
even bring your
I
winter
want to
coat?
change. Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny. So I was curious, how was your experience of writing for the quartet who can't play together?
Yeah, so my experience, this is my actually second string quartet I
Mm.
ever wrote. And so this is one of my favorite genres because I love strings, and then it's really collaborative because it
Hmm.
has four performers and they can interact with each other and hear each other's voices and maybe respond to each other, but then
Hmm.
creating beautiful, beautiful textures.
Mm.
And I'm always amazed with strings. It's such a great instrument and color to explore.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
love
no, I
creating
must
for.
say, getting to know your music a little bit, it spoke to me right away. The way that it evokes the nature quality. I mean, of course, the title "Drops and Ripples" already suggests, water like nature. Those qualities just really was wonderful for me to hear, and I'm sure audience noticed those bird calls, right? Like there's a lot of bird calls in the music, and you clearly understand the harmonic series so well that I really enjoyed that listening to that in a very extended fashion. So that was really wonderful. So like okay, 2020 now here, and as a composer, listening to Beethoven's music, especially this year, is a celebration of Beethoven's life. How is it to you as a composer listening to Beethoven's music? What does it feel like? Do you feel a pressure of being a good composer, or has to step up to the game, or I don't know? What does that feel like?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a pressure because he's ingenious, of course,
Mm,
and I love his music a lot, and it's always for me a discovery. And it's very contemporary. It
mm,
responds to everything what happens now, and his nature, kind of fighting and also enjoying the nature.
yeah.
I see in his music a lot of nature and relationship with nature,
Mm-hmm.
and also talking to us as a human beings.
Yeah.
Even it's a classical period, but
Yeah.
there is something beyond that. A lot in his
Exactly.
music to do with people.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue to my next question for you is how is this pandemic, affecting you, and what kept you, going or busy for all this time that we're quarantined?
Um, so I think the most important thing was that I was able to be still connected with people a lot, with musicians, even being apart
Hmm.
physically, but virtually, remotely. We were still trying to find a way to create music together.
Yeah.
I was doing some projects that were started related to the pandemic. And it felt hard to create because I was always being distracted with thoughts about future, worrying about my family members, about my
Mm.
relatives and friends. And so it was really hard to focus. But at the same time, it gave me a pleasure and time to create and reflect on current situation. Um, so, and
Yeah. It's a tough time
just
for
talking with my friends, yeah, musicians, my
exactly.
teachers,
Hmm.
that helped me to go through and to go together.
Yeah.
Um, because it's fine to have those questions and maybe not having answers yet, but
Hmm.
talking and trying to hear each other.
Hmm.
Um, so I found myself just uh, wanting to have this community, and I just appreciate it now so much.
Hmm.
And I think I never would forget this time and always would remember and
Yeah.
um, keep any relationship that I have. So
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like times like this, you really have to think about, back to your family and community,
yeah.
those who you love when being loved, and that's it's. But what better way to make music to combine
Hmm.
all that relationship at once, right? Like it's music is such a powerful tool that we can all share and feel it together at
Hmm.
once. So that's it's really great that what you're doing is bringing people together. So having said that,
Hmm.
what gives you such an influence or drive your creativity? I know you mentioned it's hard to compose these days because I can totally understand that, but do you find your influence from out nature, or somewhere else, or location based, or a person, or a type of music that you listen to? I'm curious how you get influenced to compose.
I think first of all, music by others.
Mm-hmm.
I always admire um, great composers' works, and I keep exploring and listening to and I always feel so happy hearing music by others. It makes me to travel somewhere or to try to understand someone's voice,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that inspires me a lot. And I always amazed how people are different and how creative they are. So that inspires me a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
then nature, the
Mm-hmm.
sounds that we find in nature, they are so rich and organic. And so what I'm trying to do now in my work to to draw those inspirations from nature and put together in a organic way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you're capturing that so beautifully in your music, I think. Even the samples that we just listened to, you know. And I know you're visually
thank you.
impaired, right? Does that affect your way of composing
Yeah.
at all? Or I can imagine the other senses must be really heightened in some ways.
Yes. I think this is something that influenced my work a lot and my
Mm.
process. I don't think uh, if you cannot see, you are automatically are going to be a musician, but you
Right.
have this sensitivity to the sound itself,
Mm-hmm.
because that way you can hear, oh, I am in the room that is large and maybe it has stones and high ceiling. So,
Hmm.
or sounds of nature and other sounds help you to navigate
Yeah.
when you are outside. Like, I can hear the car, so it's approaching. I have to switch and
Mm-hmm.
walk somewhere else, or
Right.
the street is big and so I'm now in the crowd. So
Mm-hmm.
it allows me to hear the world. And
Mm.
so I think that's why in my music I pay attention to the details and the sound itself, like to the color
Mm-hmm.
and how things interact and create the texture,
Yeah.
because it comes, yeah, from the way
No,
how I hear the world.
absolutely. No, I think you just summarized that so well. Like, I think the piece, the drops and ripples, really shows the imagination that you go beyond what you can see and hear. And somehow, I think you give us a plenty of freedom while being able to play together. It's really, really nice that you um, also understood and captured the quarantine situation. You know, we had to record layer by layer,
Mhm.
but yet it's so fresh and colorful and imaginative that I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much again for joining me for a talk, and I hope to see you more and listen to your music more. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. This is such a pleasure. So happy to be part of this project.
Thank you very much.